Kids and cadets, welcome back to Tommy Time 2009 Yard Machine. It's a Pulsa style carburetor. I got this from the 7-Eleven scrapper. That's what I'm going to call him. This is the third one I've gotten from him. And I told him the last time it's too much of a pain to go pick up onesies. He's got to get more together, 5 or 10, to make it worth my while. Because I drop everything, go to the 7-Eleven, wait for him to show up. It's just a shit show. So he had the handle folded down. He had this in his SUV. I just put the handle up. There was a kink here. Hopefully that doesn't make a difference. And I put a little bit of ATF. One of you suggested use ATF on the cables. I don't recall who it was at the moment, but I appreciate that. Let's do engine numbers and model numbers, and then we're going to change out the diaphragm with a kit, the 495770 diaphragm kit. We'll take the cover off, beauty ring, and the cover off the air filter, and squirt it, see if it fires off. I want to go ahead and do this just as a precaution anyway. Send it out the door with a new kit, but I'm sure it'll need it. I looked at the blade. One of the ends of the blade is bent down, so they did strike a stationary object. Let me focus you up here on the number. It is the 10 Tango 802-1253 Bravo 1. It's a 2009 09050654, it looks like. 5th month, 6th day of 2009 is what we're looking at. The 10 Tango 802-1253 Bravo 1. I'll put that down below. Let me see if I can show you the blade. Yep, this blade end right here is what struck. You can see that's flatter down there. This is curved down on this end. I went ahead and retorqued the head bolts. We got an NGK plug here. It doesn't look like a bad looking machine. Stored in a barn, maybe, really sandy. It's the MTD model 11 Alpha dash 544 Alpha 020, serial number 1 Lima 169 Kilo 76735. MTD, beautiful Cleveland, Ohio. So high wheeler, I don't have a bag, or it didn't come with a bag. Maybe I have a bag somewhere. I buy single bags from these scrappers. If they find them out at the curb, I tell them to snatch them up for me because I can pair them up with another machine. Okay, 1/4 inch socket. Let me remove the beauty ring. And then we're going to go ahead and look at the air filter, see when that thing was changed last. Hope you're doing well. Hopefully everything is hunky-dory with you guys in your small engine repairs. I had a good run with these 2 Troy builds. 2 for $40. They both cleaned up nice, although one had 2-cycle in the crankcase, the Honda powered one, and diesel fuel in the fuel tank of the uh, Briggs powered engine. Okay, let's remove the air filter. Grab my old snap-on flathead. What do we got? We got an old crumbly air filter here. You can see how it shrunk around the edges, and it's just going to break apart. I don't want to make a mess, but we got crumb cake. What does the fuel look like? It looks brown and stinky. I had to stick my finger in there. So let's just go ahead and take off the carburetor and redo this thing. I'm not even going to bother priming it. I'm just going to go through the carb. Those diaphragm kits are cheap. I'll put that there on the deck. Okay, we got 1/2 inch here and 10 out here, and this whole thing comes off. This is one of the easiest carbs to remove and replace. The deal with this thing is the diaphragm kits. I buy them in 10 packs, and they're only a couple of bucks. This is cheap to fix. And this is probably the only thing I see wrong with these things. That, and sometimes the plastic intake tube cracks. I've had that, but normally this diaphragm starts to dry out. It won't pump the fuel anymore. And then people put it to the street, because real mechanics, not shade tree mechanics, real mechanics at the shops are up to $100 an hour. So for most people, they don't want to spend that much on a repair. They're just gonna go to Wally World, buy another machine. That's where Tommy Time comes in, scoops up this junk for reasonably priced moolah and fixes it up. Okay, pull this off, breather elbow, and just finagle the Z-bend. Out. That one was kind of a stinker, but we got it out. Really grungy. Let me do this. Since I got the table here, I'm gonna bring the table up. We'll do it a little higher so you can see what's going on. This is my last project of the day. So I'm going to take some compressed air, clean up that gooberization, and then go down to the air veins on the head there and blast those clean. Air-cooled engine, I want the air flowing over those air veins. Yeah, I can see snot inside. Okay, Phillips head, I'm going to start taking this thing apart. Like I said, this is real easy to disassemble. Let's try pouring what little bit of gas is in the tank into this container. I'm knocking shit all over the place. Oh, that's what I knocked down is the little paper gasket. Well, that's not good. I think that's the darkest fuel I've ever seen. Oily, darkish, a lot of contamination, sand or dirt. That's weird. We're gonna have to blast the shit out of this to clean up that snot. Okay, let's focus. Phillips, take all these off. My brother Rob out in Phoenix, Arizona picked up one of these Pulsar jets out in the back alley of his house. Somebody got rid of it, so I sent him a gasket kit, a primer bulb, and another air filter, so hopefully he can do that little project. He troubleshot the engine with a shot of Happy Juice in the carb, and then it started and ran. So there's an issue with the primer bulb not priming. If it started on Happy Juice and then kept going. But I gave him the diaphragm kit. He can start fresh with a new diaphragm and a new primer bulb. You'll probably see that the diaphragm on this is warped. They just dry out and they don't pump fuel anymore. You can see that all caved in. I just dropped my screen. We'll blast that off. Got some snot here. You want to clean out the little gas pocket. There's a bunch of sand in there. You want to make sure that's all nice and clean. All the debris and buildup ends up sinking down and resting in the bottom of that pocket. This is your fuel pump. You can see how it's sunken in, and it's kind of stiff. I'm going to save the paper gasket, so I'm going to grab a blade and save this. I'll put paper down, the rubber, and then paper gasket. I'll reuse this one. They just don't pump anymore when they get this dry and brittle. So let me get a pick, kind of pick that up a little bit, and then blast it out. Go to each of the 4 quadrants. Kind of shake that up like so. Yeah, that worked out good. So there's a couple of passageways you want to make sure they're clean. There's one there, one little cavity there. Let me put some raw fuel in here and in here, shake it around and get rid of this dark crappiness. What do you say? I think that's a fantastic plan. If it was really rough, you could throw some nuts and bolts or screws in the tank, count how many you throw in there, shake it around, then dump them out. But this doesn't look too rusty. I can see a lot of shiny metal, so I'm not going to throw any screws in this thing. I'm just going to turn this upside down, get as much of this out as I can, and then blast it. Blast it and then do it one more time. What I like to do is put my air gun in this little cavity, turn it upside down and blast. It forces all the larger snot out the opening here. If I wasn't in such a rush, I would paint this thing up, degrease it here on the back, but I'm on a mission. I'm on a mission to show you guys how to fix this crap. Okay, put a little raw gas, shaky, shaky. Okay, really happy, super clean down here, not a speck of snot. Looking sweet. Time to put it back together. Let me put that to the back and then kind of blast this off. I'm seeing a little buildup here. I don't know if that's gas, that discoloration there, if that's something in the tube. But I see a bunch of crap on the screen here. You can end up taking the cartridge out. You remove the wafer here, stick a screwdriver in, and this whole cartridge will come out. I'm just going to blast air up this way so I don't have to. Normally I would. Well, heck, since we're here, let's do it. I'll show you. I got some square nose. Will that fit in there to grab? Yeah, it will. So just grab your brass wafer, put that down like so. Pull up your plastic, and then you can see the top of your emulsion tube there. Just take a flat head and push it down and then grab it from the bottom. I just got an extension here I'm going to use. Okay, it just popped down and there we go. So it's a good thing we removed it. We got some oily snot there accumulating, so that wasn't a bad idea. A couple of our holes are plugged with oil residue, so kids, that was a good call on your part to remove the jet. Set that down, kind of go through this thing a little bit with some air. So we'll bench test it. We'll put it all back together and put a little gas in it and prime it. When you're priming it, you'll see it shooting out into the carb. Here, if it's not shooting out, then we got to dress the primer bulb, but it seems like it's got some action. I can hear it pushing air. Jet goes back in. It'll click into place. I just put the jet on the table and push down on it. Now we're flush. See that? Okay. When you put your plastic down, you want to make sure the V is in between this notch. You don't want the V on this side and you don't want it on this side. It's not going to work. The V has to be right in between here. That's your mode of travel, that much. So look for my slit. There we go. I got access to it. I'm going to grab my square nose, stick it in. I got to go down a little bit. I'm not square. I don't have free travel, but I do now. Look in there and you see the brass is opening and closing. My little screen for the jet. Okay, pull the tank back up. I'm going to separate the rubber from this paper gasket because we're going to reuse it again. See, I'll show you the issue with these things. It goes like something like this. You could see how the rubber and paper are separating back here, like so. That's what will happen. There's a big distance that this gasket isn't tightened down, so you'll get separation here. And you'll get excess of air pouring through this separation. It was a design flaw with these carburetors. So kind of doubling them up with two papers and one rubber gasket helps out, or you can take a razor and draw a line here to scuff up the aluminum, and that will grab onto your rubber if you do that. Scuff this up, don't sand it down or smooth it, scuff it to leave a little aluminum track, and then what that actually does is grab the rubber. If that's all you have is one rubber and one paper, it'll actually, that rough edge will hook up onto this rubber and stay in place. kind of wipe the snot off this onto my shirt. Okay, there we go on that. Where did I put the gasket kit? It's around somewhere, but I just grabbed another one. So what I'll do is use the newer paper gasket down on the aluminum first. Then my new paper, rubber, sorry, you're going to make a sandwich. Paper, rubber, and then paper. I'll take the used one and use that here on the top. Kind of clean up any remaining gooberization there. So we're all looking good. Take my carburetor, primer a bulb facing forward. Kind of put this down without disturbing it. Now I'm going to take my screws and just get one started. We'll start back here. Kind of look down the hole, line everything up, give it half a twist. We'll go over here. This one's open all the way. I'm not hitting the gasket at all. This one here goes down all the way. Didn't hit any of the gasket. We're free and clear all the way around. So we're going to do crisscross applesauce. Just get them finger tight all the way around. Get a starting point. Okay, they're all snug, so you can start anywhere your heart's desire. If I start here on this one, give it a little twist, jump across here, give that a little twist, jump across here to this one, give that a little twist, this corner, and this corner. Okay, I took the slack out of all of them, start over again, come back to this one, a little more, 1/8 of an inch turn, a little more on that one, up here, a little more, down here, a little more, and a little more. I'll make one more pass, but it's pretty tight now. I don't think I'm going to get any tighter. You don't want to go berserk. It's just plastic. So let's see how we did. Okay, just to barely move that one. Hardly anything on that one. Tiny bit there. And that one was pretty tight. So now we're square. So what do we got to do? This goes on. We're going to put some fuel in this and check the primer bulb. This is our bench testing. Sorry, I just kicked you with the gas jug. That should be enough. There's enough in there to cover the intake tube. Three, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11 pumps. You just saw it blast all the way through. Sometimes when you're first doing the job, you got to keep going. Normally it says pump it 3 times. That's with no fuel in it. It took us 11 times to get this thing to push off. You can see it's blasting through there. So we're in good shape. We got a working primer. Let me turn you back down here. We'll put this back. Reposition you. I'll probably start it without the filter because I don't think I got a filter out here for it. They're all inside. I was not prepared. Unless I steal one off of another machine, but I don't see any other pulses around here that I've fixed lately. Okay, let's get serious. Hopefully I'm not going to block you. I'll put my fuel cap on so I don't make a mess. So we'll probably have a vibration in this thing due to that blade. So I'm going to have to change the blade out. There's 2 holes drilled here. You only can get the Z-bend into the larger hole. The other smaller hole is for your spring assembly. Kind of manipulate your elbow back on there. Put my 10 out here on the outside of the tank to hold that. Get that started and then bring my 1/2 inch into play. Get that started. Do we still prime? Yep, we still prime. It's pushing. Half inch. Go out here to my 10. That's not my 10. That's my half. I got a 10 here somewhere. Where's my 10? That's my 1/4. Dirt gobbers. That must have been up in here somewhere. Yes, it was on the roof of the plastic. That's quite the nest. Blast that off with some compressed air. Okay, grab my 10 and do that. Oh, fire engine and the ambulance are down the street. They're walking into somebody's yard. I hope they didn't have a heart attack. Heart attacks suck. And I think I know who it is, too. It's one of my good neighbors down there. He's been here forever. Uh-oh. That's not good. That's not good at all. Yeah, I met him the first day I moved in. Okay, here's the 10. We got that. We got that on. Still priming. We'll put my spring. Can you see that? The long stretch of the arm goes here, and then the shorter hook out here. Okay, I'll blast this off. There's oil in it, but it's needs some attention. Let me blast this up here. You know what I forgot to do was blast back here. Okay, fire truck just left. Ambulance is still there, so it was a medical emergency. It wasn't a kitchen fire. Fire truck's going back to the station. Okay, I'll just put that in place. Put Mr. Snake there. Hold on to these two so they don't rattle off. Well, ambulance left, so hopefully it was nothing. They weren't there very long. Maybe started breathing again. I'm not going to mess with this. I'm just going to put it to the side, start it without the filter. Here we go. Okay, gave it a couple of good shots. Should be enough down there. Let's try it again. Okay. So it started off, you saw it was shaking like a banshee. It was hard to control it. It was jumping around so much. The bent blade, like I showed you, is making this thing dance. It's doing the foxtrot. So we got to throw another 21-inch blade on it, get another air filter. The original Briggs and Stratton filter here has had it. So that was a good resurrection for 15 bucks. I had marked it 15 because I had put this aside to mess with these two. I didn't want to forget what I paid for it. You get old, you forget shit. But it was a $15 machine, 2009. I'm happy. Hopefully you guys learned something about diaphragms. These things dry out and they don't pump gas anymore. Cheap fix. What did I tell you the part number was? I kind of oiled this up. Let me give you the part number again. And I'll list it down below with the air filter number as well, because you're going to probably need one of those. And I'll even put the number for the primer bulb. Sometimes they dry out. I get these in 10 packs. If I got to replace them, I got them on hand, and then I buy, like I said, 10 of these at a time. The diaphragm kits made in China. 495770 is what you got. So 3 things: the air filter, you got your diaphragm kit, and primer bulbs. That's basically the only things that need to be replaced on these. I like these pulses, easy to mess with. Anyway, hopefully you're having a good week. Oh, the fire truck's going to a call. He didn't even make it back to the station. They're on a call. So we got the Sarasota County Fair coming up, the 15th to the 24th, 100 years of fine fair excitement here in Sarasota County. You go on $2 Tuesday, you get the armband every day, open to close. But Tuesday is the $2 day. Okay, have a good week. Glad you came out. We've been messing with some shit and we've been fixing some shit. So I'm happy with what's happening. Getting some deals, fixing them, stacking them up for season. And hopefully we blow them out the door. Have a good day today. Thanks for coming out. As always, tip your waitress and wait staff. They always do a great job and they appreciate your generosity. Talk to you soon. Adios, amigos. Oh, before you leave, who's leaving? Looks like Southwest. They're heading out of town. Okay, see you guys.